Good morning, everybody. It's Mike. Thanks for joining me today. We've been having a conversation about distractions this week. Oh my God, the distractions, right? They're endless. I had a long list of really good intentions this week. I did. I had a written weekly schedule. I'd actually taken the time to put together a written weekly schedule. I was determined. I was focused. What the hell happened? None of that stuff got done. Do you ever feel like that? I know I do. I know I have. What in the world is going on with all these distractions? Well, we've been talking about this week and offering some strategies on how to deal with it, because so many of us are working from home now and the distractions escalate. They just do. But why? Because you created home to be comfortable. That's why. You didn't do anything wrong. You're now trying to introduce work into a comfort environment. I'm not surprised that we're having problems with distractions. Of course you are. And there's two kinds of distractions. Remember, we talked about that this week. Internal and external. I'm not talking about external distractions with you this week, because you've all heard, until you're sick of hearing it, all the different little strategies of how to deal with external distractions. Creating a dedicated workspace in your home. Closing the door, blocking it out, putting a sign on the door, don't bother daddy, he's working, that kind of stuff. You don't need that from me. What I want to talk to you about this week and continue to explore are how we deal with the internal distractions, because those are the tricky ones. Those are the ones nobody knows about except you and me, and I am you. I've been an agent for 33 years now. I fully get it. You're not having any problem anybody else has. So remember Monday and Tuesday we talked about blamers, shamers, and claimers, right? Blamers, they blame the world, everything outside of them that's happening to them. What can I do? Oh, Mike, it's the kids, it's the lawnmower outside my window, it's the UPS guy ringing the doorbell. It's all these things happening to them. And then the shamers, this is the worst of all. They don't blame everybody else, they blame themselves. I'm dumb, stupid, and lazy. Well, there's an empowering conversation to have with yourself. And then there's the claimers. And the claimers realize that their personal power doesn't come from controlling what goes on in the world around them, but it comes from how they respond to what's going on around them. That's where their power lies. So claimers build strategies to help them respond effectively to external forces. Ineffective people sit around bitching, complaining, and trying to figure out ways to manipulate things that are happening to them. Claimers just go, hey, it's this. Next week it'll be something else. Next year it'll be something else. My power is in how I choose to respond to the situations, not the situations themselves. And this is where we start to surge ahead, folks, when we can get our brain around this. So what do we do? Well, if you want to be a claimer, here's the strategies we've talked about so far. We talked about on Monday the 30-minute rule, right? Food, TV, kids, Facebook, you name it. It just goes on and on and on. I'm going to go eat everything in my refrigerator, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to do it in 30 minutes. Just put these distractions, these internal distractions. I'm going to go to Facebook. I'm going to check my emails. I'm going to go check on the kids. I'm going to go out and go for a walk or play with the kids. I'm going to do all these things, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to do it in 30 minutes. And knowing that if we can put impulses off for 30 minutes, the impulse goes away in most cases. So that's one strategy. Yesterday we talked about managing our emails. I contend maybe Facebook and Instagram are running a close second, but email is the biggest distraction. We treat our inbox like it's an emergency room at a hospital, like at any second something critically urgent is going to come in. Come on. It's real estate. Nobody's going to die today, folks. What you touch that's really urgent is like minuscule. Are there important things? They are, but they're almost never urgent. Like you have to work it this second. But we talked yesterday about a plan for managing our emails, and if you missed that, I'd encourage you to revisit it. You can go to my Facebook group page, The Path to 20 Million, and all of these are recorded and hosted there. Today I want to go a different direction with you. I want to talk about being on purpose. And being on purpose is one strategy for dealing with the internal distractions. Are you familiar with the old saying that carpenters have? Measure twice and cut once. Measure twice and cut once. It's better to take the time to plan it and get it right than to just rush through things and make mistakes. So I want to ask you a question. Do you schedule? Do you plan for some quiet time each day to actually think and plan out your day? Do you? I say it can be a 10 to 15 minute meeting with you that's in your schedule where you block out the TV and the music and the kids and the spouse and all this stuff. You block it up. You're going to work from home. You're going to need strategies to do it or you'll fail. Do you start off the day? And I contend that early in the morning is the better time to do it, but I know some of you are convinced that you're night people and you want to do it at night. I don't care, then plan the next day. That's a conversation for another time. Do you schedule some quiet time each day to think and to plan? To measure twice so you cut once. Remember this, right? If we don't plan our day, somebody else will plan it for us. That's right. How many of you are saying amen to that? Like, you're busy, but it's not busy on stuff that you chose that was important. It's other people running your life. Yeah? If I don't plan my day, other people are going to plan it for me. Now, today's strategy for conquering internal distractions is making deals with yourself. Making deals with yourself. Let me give you some examples. The price deal, okay? Create incentives or penalties, whichever way works best for your brain. Some people do better off incentives. Some people need like electric shock, a penalty. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Whichever way works best for you. But create incentives or penalties for yourself. Like, I don't know, let me give you some examples. How about one push-up for every calorie consumed over X? You fill in X. Right? Okay, so if I eat today, if I take in more calories than I said I was going to, I have to do one push-up for every calorie I take in. How about on the incentive side, I get to buy this thing for myself that I want, but I only get to buy it for myself if I do X by X. If I do this much, this thing, by this day and time, then I get to go buy myself. If I don't do it, I don't get to go buy it for myself. I don't get the reward. How about this? Just getting really simple, and you can fill in the examples. I get a slice of cheesecake today, but only if I do this. So what would be an example? If I have a conversation with 10 for sale by owners today, then I get to have a piece of cheesecake after that. But only after the 10th conversation. That would be an example. You can fill in the example any way your little heart desires. The idea is to make a price deal with yourself. I get the reward or I get punishment if I do or don't do this. How about an identity deal? Identity deals work like this. I'm a vegetarian. Well, if you say I'm a vegetarian, people that say that don't make bacon for breakfast, right? They don't. Why? Because I'm a vegetarian. I have an identity. I've made an identity deal with myself. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Christian. I'm a non-drinker. I'm an exercise fanatic. I'm a runner. I'm a weightlifter. I'm a yogi, I think is what they call themselves. How about this one? I'm a highly paid sales professional. So why do you do this? Why do you start early and work late and dress professionally and conduct? Because I'm a highly paid sales professional. That's why I do it. I've made an identity deal with myself. I don't drop my standards. Why? Because highly paid, successful salespeople don't do that. How about this for an identity deal? I'm gonna tell you an old man story here a little bit, but some of you are gonna be able to relate with this, and others are gonna think I'm crazy. When I was growing up in the 70s, everybody had these big, thick, heavy ashtrays in their house. Everybody did. You didn't not have an ashtray in your house. And if people came over to your house, they would just pull out a pack of cigarettes and light up a cigarette and smoke. They wouldn't ask you if they could. They just did. If you got in a car with them, that's why there's ashtrays in cars. I bet some of you are going, I wonder why they put an ashtray in my car. That's because you're a non-smoker. But as far back as I can remember, ashtrays were part of the decor of the house. Until I challenge you, go over to anybody's house now and try to find an ashtray sitting out. They definitely don't use it as a piece of decoration like we used to do back in the 70s. I remember in school making, in a pottery class kind of thing, making an ashtray for my mom for Mother's Day. Well, what kids do that today? When did that change? It changed when people started saying, I'm not a smoker. Please don't smoke in my house. Please don't smoke in my car. I find that offensive. We're not smokers in our family. We would appreciate you not doing that. And I'm definitely not giving you an ashtray. That all started to change. Culture in our entire society began to change when people said, when they made identity deals with themselves. I'm not a smoker, so I'm not going to have ashtrays in my house. You're not going to smoke in my house or my car. You're not going to smoke around my kid. I find secondhand smoke offensive. I might sue you for it. That's how strong the identity deal became around that. And I just wonder, gosh, if we made an identity deal with ourselves that was that strong, what would happen? The third kind of deal I want to offer to you is the effort deal. Okay, the effort deal is I take a specific kind of action to help me overcome my internal distractions. So let me give you two examples. I've told many of you about how many alarm clocks I have in my house. Why? Because I need to get my little fanny out of bed in the morning, and I don't always want to. I'm glad that I do once I'm up, but getting me up is the big challenge. So I go to a multiple alarm clock strategy. Here's another one. How about a $10 outlet timer? Now watch this. For those of you that have trouble going to sleep at night, yeah, I know, because you're watching TV and you're on the internet and you haven't given your brain a chance to start winding down a little bit yet, getting calm. You keep pushing impulses into it and then you expect it to just go to sleep. A $10 outlet timer that you plug your internet router into at home. Now watch this. And you just set the timer. In my house, it goes off at 9 o'clock. Like, I guess I could get up, go downstairs to my office, reset the timer, and turn the internet back on. I could. I'm just not going to go to that much trouble. It's just time to shut it all off. So the internet in my house goes down at 9 p.m. and it isn't coming back on until 5 a.m. the next morning. I don't need it to be on during those times. And it is my way of saying, okay, time for enough of that. Right? That's the strategy. Why? Otherwise, I might sit on YouTube watching Peter Gabriel music videos until 1 o'clock in the morning. That's why. I don't know. I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking. I want to be a claimer.